After the crew of the Enterprise find an unstoppable force of terror from within their own organization, Captain Kirk leads a manhunt to a war-zone world to capture a one-man weapon of mass destruction. This is my review of Star Trek Into Darkness. So before I start my review, I just want to tell you guys that I saw this movie with my dad, and I just want to tell you guys that me and my dad aren't Trekkies. And for those of you that don't know what Trekkies are people that are huge fans of Star Trek. Yeah, me and my dad, we aren't that really into Star Trek, except for the two movies made by J.J. Abrams. So when we went to see Star Trek Into Darkness, we didn't know if the movie was going to be as good as the Star Trek made by J.J. Abrams, or if it was going to be just the same. But from the trailers, it looked really awesome and epic, and when we went to see the movie, that's what it was. It was awesome and epic. Alright, the good points of the film. I thought that the main good point of the film were the visual effects and the sound of the film, believe it or not. Yeah, the visual effects were really realistic. I thought they were better and more realistic than the Iron Man 3 visual effects. And if the Oscars were to come tomorrow, I think that Star Trek Into Darkness would win for best visual effects right now. Yeah, and also the sound. And by the sound, I mean the sound design of the film, like with the shots of the phasers or the rifles or the ships going at warp speed were really good, and the people who did the sound editing and the sound mixing did a great job, because when shots were fired, it was like really loud. It's like, whoa, it like feels like you're in a real firefight. And when a ship crashes, it sounds like and feels like even that the ship is exploding. And when a ship explodes, you're like, whoa. I thought that the writing and the directing by J.J. Abrams was mainly the same as what he did in Star Trek, but just slightly better. I thought that he did a great job directing and writing, but it just sort of felt the same as what he did in Star Trek. You know, I thought that everybody did a great job acting in the film, but the main jewel of the film, in my opinion, was Benedict Cumberbatch, who played the main villain of the film. When I saw him in trailers, I was like a little bit scared, because like, whoa man, this character is a little bit freaky. And during the film, when I was watching the scenes he was in, because he was in only a supporting role, and even in a supporting role he was good, but as I was saying, the scenes that he was in were really good because he acted like a maniac, sort of. Well, not really a maniac, just a mad person. Wait, is that the same, maniac and mad person? I thought that the battles were good also, like the ship versus ship battles, or the firefights, or even the hand-to-hand combat battles were good. The cinematography was also good, because at points you had the camera on this like trolley or whatever, and it was like moving really fast with the characters running, and sometimes you had these forced perspective shots. You also had like these swooping and rotating shots as well. I thought those camera shots were cool. There was a bit of a twist also in the film. I didn't see it coming, but it wasn't like a big twist. It was just a minor one. And I'll talk about it in the spoiler section. I'll also be talking about Benedict Cumberbatch's character in the spoiler section as well. Alright, the bad points. There wasn't that many bad points of the film. I mean, like, none at all. I thought everybody did a great job. Actually, there is just this one thing that I had a problem with in the film, which I thought they could have changed, or should have changed, I would say. And I'll be talking about that in the spoiler section. Yeah, so my dad thought that this was a really good film, so he gives it 3.5 out of 4 stars. Well, I thought it was a really good film as well, but I go a little bit higher than him. I go 3.75 out of 4 stars. Alright, the spoiler section. If you haven't seen Star Trek Into Darkness, then get out of here now, or the film's gonna be ruined for you. Alright, so the small twist I was talking about earlier in the good points was that the fleet commander, played by the actor who played RoboCop, I can't name him right now, but he was sort of the bad guy as well. Like, in the beginning, we think that he's the good guy, and JJ's directing really helped to make us believe that he was the good guy. But then, in the middle of the film, we find out that he's sort of a bad guy. He's trying to cause a war between the humans and the Klingons, and I was like, oh, didn't see that coming. Yeah, also, Benedict Cumberbatch's character, a lot of people were saying, like in a trailer or something, that he had a costume on that looked similar to a past villain in the Star Trek universe that someone else wore in one of the earlier Star Trek movies, and that bad guy the fans were talking about was Khan. I didn't know who Khan was, so I checked him up on Wikipedia, and when I checked him up, I was like, wow, this guy is really bad, and looks like he can do a lot of devastating stuff. But that was like a few months before I saw Star Trek Into Darkness, so I completely forgot about Khan. And when Benedict Cumberbatch revealed himself to be Khan, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. Man, they did a really good job of sort of hiding that he was Khan. And there's just one point in the film where Kirk dies. It was really sad. JJ did a really good job of showing Spock and his emotions and everything, because Spock can't really show emotions since he's a Vulcan. And I also heard that this was similar to one of the past films as well, because I guess Khan somehow destroys like their warp drive or whatever, so Spock has to go in this radiation sector unit to get the warp drive working again, and he dies, and this is just the exact opposite in Star Trek Into Darkness. I mean, I don't mind Kirk not dying, but I thought it would have been really cool in a way to see Kirk die, because it's like, how's the series gonna go now? And yeah, that's my review of Star Trek Into Darkness. I thought it was a really incredible film. I thought it was better than the first Star Trek that JJ made, and I can't wait for the next one, which isn't gonna be directed by him because he's doing Star Wars 7 now. And that's it.